Welcome to Financial Independence Retire Early. This is episode number 22. Really excited because on episode number 22, I'm going to talk about how to get rich in a developing country. Right. This is very important for me, being that I am from a developing country, and being from a developing country, I want to be as developed as the next person in the most developed country, in the richest country in the world. So I need to understand, what does that look like? How do I go from developing to developed? Right. What does that process really look like? What are the specific nuances of my country? And what does it take to then take myself and my country from developing, but also need to understand like the micro and macro economies of the world that I participate in order for me to be able to take advantage of all the opportunities that may exist for me, in this big, beautiful world that we live in. So episode 22 of Financial Independence Retire Early is about how to get rich in a developing country. So the three phases are basically, or the three aspects that I'm going to talk about. Number one is the more pragmatic, practical way, like what you and I can do today, tomorrow, and build businesses on our wealth in order to build wealth. And the second one would be like the more technical ways in which the community and the country rather should look around, organize itself in order to become more conducive for wealth building. And lastly, I'm going to go up into the more cultural nuances of what then it takes for people to have kind of wealth building attitudes, or wealth inducing attributes in the community and in the country. So those are the three phases: the more practical ways, the more technical ways, and the more cultural nuances of building wealth in a developing country, at least using this country as an example. So number one, the more pragmatic way. The easiest way is just to pay attention to what other countries are doing or what they have done and make it relevant locally, right? So this is, adapting technologies, adapting products and services, finding ways to feed our needs and wants in using things that other countries have already developed, right? So you can import a product or service. I mean, I've seen in this country, especially in the, fashion and shoe care industry, there are people that have imported shoes or dresses, put their brand on it, and have built entire businesses with franchises, opening tens of stores and employing hundreds of people, right? And in a way strengthening and building up our economy and building wealth for themselves and the families of the people that they've hired. So importing products and services is the most basic way, even beyond drop shipping. So whether it's fashion, whether it's technology, whether it's homeware, right? Whether it's furniture, and go beyond drop shipping and actually see if you can build an entire business around importing other products and services. And even beyond that, right? We can build manufacturing partners and not just import the products and services. But obviously, this can be possible once you've actually built up the local demand and the local market. Once you can sustain the demand, once you can sustain the market, then it will be easier for you to even build manufacturing partners and bring those international manufacturing machines and machinery and all of that locally and build local manufacturing capacity, right? So partnering with international global supply chain in a way can help a developing country kind of leap itself forward into becoming a developed country. Again, not just fashion, not just technology, but also in information and health, right? In, yeah, again, furniture and homeware. So you can replicate markets that already exist, or you can kind of build your own niche market, and finding a product or service that may exist internationally but does not exist locally, all right? Or even finding a way to adapt and evolve a product or service that exists internationally, locally. It can be a cab hailing service, or it can be something like payment options, right? Because in Africa, we have a situation where a lot of people don't have laptops, even less have personal computers, but almost everybody is in the process of getting a smartphone, right? So that means that even people that don't have bank accounts can have a lot of money stored in their smartphones and be able to pay, even in the most rural of villages on the continent, right? So this is how we can use technology and technological developments that exist overseas or in other countries to solve problems that we have in our country and on our continent. So we can again use technology in order to leap ourselves forward and create more functional and more developed systems in payment, in cab hailing, and in other ways like fashion and furniture and other things. So um, the advantage is you can find a unique product or service that again that may not exist, and you can be like have first movers advantage and be like the only person in your country that provides that product or service, right? And that can like help you monopolize the market, and you can build wealth that much faster because you're the only one, right? You have no competition. You have first movers advantage. You are feeding the entire market. You are a monopoly, right? And you can build wealth and hire people and actually even again build bring manufacturing capacity locally. The next way that is also very practical is understanding like currency fluctuations, understanding like the global how global trade and monetary cooperation can assist your personal economic growth or your company's economic growth. So for example, I know in South Africa the rand is at any moment between 12 rand and 16 rands, right? At any moment, at least for the past 5 years or so, we've been between 12 rand, maybe even longer, right? Maybe even past 10 years, we've been between 12 rand and 15 rand. So when it's lower than 12 rand, I know to buy more dollars, right? And not even just trading Forex on my phone, but actually going to a currency store, a currency exchange booth or a currency exchange store, and actually buying the currency and storing it in your bank account or in your home, as a saving mechanism or just as a hedge against inflation and currency fluctuation. So you know that, look, this country's currency on general outperforms my currency in strength against inflation and against other things. So why would I not save in that currency, right? So you have the opportunity coming from a developing country to save in a currency that can outperform your currency, and then you can build wealth for you that much better, that much faster, or that much even smarter. But even beyond that, coming from a developing country and being kind of technical and technologically advanced, you can have the opportunity of earning in foreign currency. So you can find a job online or work from home or whatever it is where you actually earn in foreign currency. And this can help you build wealth that much faster than the average person in your country, because you actually earn in a currency that's stronger than your local currency. And that typically, again, outperforms your local currency. So if you, earn in dollars versus rands, you might even earn in the 10% of the country. But, as it relates to America, you might be earning in maybe the the bottom 50%. But if you change the currency to your local currency, you might actually be in the top 10% of earners. So, being from a developing country, there are certain disadvantages that you can use to your advantage, at least as an individual or even as a company, to kind of earn in a currency, or earn in dollars, but earn in a currency that's stronger than yours. So those are the two more practical, pragmatic ways. One is just like understanding international markets, international products and services, and kind of adapting them to your market, whether they're old or they're new. And second is just basically understanding the currency fluctuations and the currency differences and using that to your advantage. The more technical ways then, right, the things that I believe countries can do, right, in order to make themselves more entrepreneur friendly, make them more business friendly, and have more conducive economic environments, is basically have a lot of stability. Stability is really, really important for economic development, whether as an individual or whether even as a business and as a country. If you study the biggest two economies, America, number one, America has only two political parties. So at any moment, it's either the Democrats or the Republicans in power. So that is a level of stability that is kind of overlooked, because it means that if you're a company or you're a business and you go into America, you can understand that at any moment, either Democrat or Republican is going to be in power. So that creates a certain level of predictability and stability, so you know how to behave in that country, right? If you go into China, for example, the second biggest economy, they've had one political party run the country. So that's another level of stability. The political stability creates economic stability, and that's why they've been able to move so fast and become the second biggest economy in the world. So even in our countries or on our continent, we need a level of stability. We need ease, we need clear, again, I'll repeat, we need clear transitions of power. We need fair and free elections, but we also need stability in a sense that the military is not gonna kind of coup at any moment, right? We need stability in the sense that the people and the police kind of work together and they're not antagonistic with each other. We need a police force that serves the people and does not make the people kind of not distrustful of the system and kind of rebel against the system. So a military security, strong police services that actually loves and takes care and serves the people is really, really important for law and order, and that kind of creates stability, political stability that can also create economic stability for economic development, right? So we also need low corruption, low bureaucracy, low red tapes. Entrepreneurs need to be able to kind of build their businesses without the government getting in their way, right? So that kind of also feeds into clear and fair employment legislature, right? But again, low corruption in our institutions, right? Low red tape, low bureaucracy, but also clear, fair, and understandable employment legislature, in the sense that we also need clear and fair taxation legislature. So as an employer, as a business, and even as an employee, you need to understand your tax responsibilities. You need to understand what the law says is capable for you as an employer or as an employee. So as an employee, you also need to understand labor laws, and as an entrepreneur and as an employer, if I'm going to hire more people, I need to understand kind of what are my labor law limitations and advantages, right? And also what are my taxation responsibilities. Again, as an employer and as an employee, we all need to understand what are our taxation responsibilities to the government, so that we're always on the right side of the law as it relates to tax. Because also a good, functional, stable government that does not abuse its tax revenue can use all of the tax revenue that we give it to give us a high grade infrastructure and functional, good, fast telecommunication network. So as employees and as businesses, we need to understand our tax responsibilities so that we can fulfill them. But the government also, a stable, functional, low corrupt, low bureaucracy, low red tape government can use their tax revenue to give us high grade infrastructure and good, fast telecommunications, right? And also use the technology, the tax revenue, yes, and technology to give us highly functional individuals. So we use taxation funds to fund education, in the sense that we want technical, well-educated, mobile, motivated, hardworking, flexible labor force, right? So the human resource aspect of the country needs to be looked at and invested in highly, right? So we need technical, motivated, intelligent, hardworking, innovative, mobile, flexible labor force, right? We also need transparent and competitive markets. As entrepreneurs and as business people, we need to understand our limitations and our rights and our responsibilities in a way that we can create transparent and competitive markets and transparent and competitive businesses, right? And we also need reliable and enforceable contracts. Again, whether I'm going to partner with another business, whether I'm going to partner with another individual, whether I'm going to hire someone, I need to understand what are my contractual limitations and obligations. I need to understand how to draw up a contract. I need to understand how to, yes, read a contract also. So we need reliable, easy to read, understandable contracts and contract law. We need understandable tax laws. We need the tax law also needs to be part of our everyday communication, right? We need to know what are our tax responsibilities so that we can always be on the right side of the law. But we also need stability. We need military, political, police stability, and we need low corruption, no corruption. You know what I'm saying? We need low red tape and low bureaucracy, and we need understandable laws, clear, fair employment legislature. We need high grade infrastructure and good communication, transparent competitive markets, and a technical, well educated, motivated, intelligent, mobile, and flexible labor force. These are the more technical things, right, the country can do in order for it to become conducive for economic development and kind of entrepreneur friendly and business friendly. And then last but not least are the more cultural nuances. Again, the kind of, again, philosophical, idealistic, cultural ways in which I think a country can build itself in order to be geared for wealth, right? We need wealth inducing attitudes, right? We need wealth promoting attributes within ourselves as a community and as a culture and as a country, right? This goes into how we define success, but also this deeply is also in how we define ourselves as a people, how we identify ourselves, how we define success, how we define failure, what we define as progress, what we define as wealth, right? What we define as good, fair technology, how we create a meritocratic community, that's non-sexist also, Um, so yeah, these are the how do we see ourselves as Africans in the 22nd century, right? What is the role of technology in kind of evolving, adapting, and preserving African culture? What's the role of technology in all of that, right? What's the role of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? So yeah, these are the more cultural factors, more cultural nuances of how we kind of create a wealth motivated and wealth inducing attitude. Because we lest like like Marcus Garvey said, lest we drink from the poison of Western civilization and then it kills us, right? So we need to define progress in technology in a way that is not harmful to our environment. So we need to define progress in technology in a way that is not destructive to ecosystems, that doesn't pollute. So we need to create economies that are circular in their definition, right? Even like I said, even in how we define failure and how we motivate people, we need to be able to look out for people that are actually trying, even if they are failing. So how we motivate and how we support individuals in the community in order for them to be highly innovative, highly motivated, highly functional, highly technological, and intelligent, so that they can we can motivate them and put them to the forefront where they can lead and bring out the best in themselves and in everybody else in order to create, the kind of strong economic systems and economy that we need. So again, these are the more cultural nuances. So you have the more pragmatic, practical ways, right, of just learning from other countries, learning their mistakes and taking the best of what they've done and bringing it to your country, understanding your local market and evolving and adapting all of these technologies and other things that exist in other countries and making them relevant to your country. And we also have all of these technical things that we need to look out for, right? Stability, low corruption, low red tape, clear and fair employment legislation, clear and fair taxation legislation, technical, well-educated population, high-grade infrastructure and telecommunications, transparent and competitive markets, and so forth. So these are the things that I believe it takes, to build wealth as an individual and as a country from developing to developed. If there's anything that you feel like I left out, right, you can hit me up in the comment section or hit me up on. I'm gonna leave all of my community details like I always do. This is Financial Independence, Retire Early. My name is Bird, and I hope you enjoy this episode. If you have, also share it with anybody else who you think might find this kind of information relevant and useful. Yeah, just hit the like button and hit the share button with anybody who you think will find this information relevant and useful. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.